Hi everyone, this is Shelly from Koala Knits and Knacks, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to crochet this chunky V-stitch infinity scarf. Just a beautiful outcome with this yarn, and you're gonna love it. So keep following and you'll see the yarn and the hook size that I use, and I hope you enjoy it and that you make yourself one. All right, my friends, see you soon. All right, so before we begin our project, let's take a look at the yarn. We're using Caron Spice Cakes, and the colorway that we are using is called Dark Spark. Doesn't it kind of look like that? It kind of looks like it could be the spark, the flames that are in a campfire that you that you have going at night, and you see all these beautiful flickering colors. That's what this actually looks like, and it's really, really gorgeous. Okay, it is a 6-weight yarn. The suggested hook that it says if you're knitting is 8mm, crocheting is 8mm. You can that's just the suggested hook size. You can use whatever hook size you like in that range, and I'm actually going to use my 9mm hook. I have a 9mm crochet hook that I really like, so I'm going to use that. And I've got 239 yards in this ball, so one ball will be enough for me to make this scarf. So yep, that's all you're going to need is one ball of Caron Spice Cakes if you're going to make the scarf the way I'm making it, and you will have some left over in the end. Okay, all right. Okay, so you're going to find your yarn end. Let me just sift through. I already pulled out this very center so I could get at it. You're going to pull out your yarn end, and we're going to just make a knot to put on our hook. So I just around my finger, then pull that through. You can stick your hook in there and pull it through if you like, and that's how you make how you get it onto your hook. That's how you make your knot. Okay, then for this particular project you need even numbers. Okay, so what I do is I chain up until I think it's the length that I want, and then I wrap it around my neck a couple of times to see if that's where it falls, and that's what I go with. And in this particular case, I'm going to do 100. I already did a sample of it, so I'm going to do 118 chains. So I'm going to yarn over and pull it through that loop on the hook. This is my foundation row, okay? Yarn over and pull it through the loop on the hook. Don't make it really tight, better a little bit loose than tight. Yarn over, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Literally, this is what I'm going to do all the way till I get to 118 chains, okay? Making sure I don't twist my chain and get all wonky like this. I just want to make sure, go nice and slow if you're a beginner, and grab that stitch that you just finished and go up and do another one, or do 2 stitches and go up, whatever you're most comfortable with. With this wide yarn, I think it's good to just do 1 stitch and then pinch it and then do the next. And then just with even tension, keep going until you get to the desired length you want. If you're following my tutorial exactly, then do 118 chains in your foundation row. And if you are making it shorter or longer, then go ahead and chain up multiples of 2 to the desired length that you have, okay? So keep going just like this until you get to your desired amount of chains, making sure it's an even number, all right? Okay, so my scarf is 118, but for this, to continue to show you how to do this tutorial, I'm going to use a shorter chain, just because then I'll get to my ends faster, and we can show you where you go from there. So once you've chained up the desired amount that you want, you're going to count back 4 chains, okay? So you're not going to count the chain on your hook. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and in that 4th chain from the hook, you're going to double crochet. So you're going to yarn over, put your hook into that stitch, yarn over, pull it through, then follow your thumbs up there just so you can kind of pinch it and keep a good tension on all 3 of those loops, okay? And then you're going to yarn over, go through 2 loops, yarn over, and go through 2 loops. That's your first double crochet. Then in that very same stitch, you're going to do another double crochet. So yarn over, go into that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, move your thumbs up in your finger and pinch that so that those are all the same height. Yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, and go through 2. You've just done 2 double crochets in the 4th chain from the hook. All right. If you need to watch a shorter video or like a more detailed video on how to do the double crochet, I do have a video on my channel where all we do is rows of double crochet until you get the hang of it. Also single crochet and treble and half double crochet. So if you need to learn any of those stitches, go ahead and look down my videos and you'll find them. Okay, so we're going to then skip the next one. So this next chain right here, we're gonna miss it. Then we're gonna yarn over and we're gonna double crochet into that next chain. Yarn over, pull up a loop, do the same thing. Yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. That's your first double crochet in that stitch. You're gonna do 2 in every second stitch. So yarn over, go into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, and go through 2. So for those of you who know how to do this and don't need it quite so slow, you're going to just do 2 double crochets in every second stitch, okay, until you get to the end. I'm going to just keep going. So yarn over, skip that stitch. We're going to do 2 double crochets and another one. Skip the next one, do 2 double crochets in the next. Oops. This yarn is so soft. I just am loving the feel of it. 2 double crochets in the next. You're going to skip the next stitch, do 2 in the next. Okay, skip the next one, do 2 in the next. Okay, we've got 2 stitches left, and that's good. That's how you should be. So you're going to skip this one, and in that last stitch you're only going to do 1 double crochet. So insert your hook, do 1 double crochet. Now I'll tell you why. At the beginning and the end of every row there is 1 double crochet. So if we go back to the beginning here, we did our we crocheted our double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook, which left us 3 loops prior to that, before that. This is considered a double crochet in this case, okay? And then we've done a V-stitch, a V-stitch, a V, 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 all the way down your row until you got to your last stitch, and then you did just 1 double crochet that acts as a chain. It's the same height and it looks like this chain 3. So that's how your first row is going to be. Then what you're going to do, we're going to only have 1 double crochet at the end of every row, okay, and at the beginning as well. So we're going to chain up 3, 1, 2, and 3. All right, I just put it down there for a second because I want to grab my stitch marker, which is a bobby pin, of course, and you're going to put that in that 3rd stitch, okay? If you can easily find that 3rd stitch without doing that, then you can leave it. But if you're a beginner, you need to really do that, because otherwise your rows are going to, the end of your rows are going to be crooked, okay? And so then you're going to turn your work like a book. Get this yarn stitch marker out of the way. Then, so this chain 3 acts like that double crochet. This is what's going to make our edging straight. So now you're going to go look for your V's from the back, okay? So you can easily see them. Well, let's go to the second one here. This is your V. So in the middle here, this is the space between the V's, and this is a V, okay? So when you do your chain 3, don't mistake this for a V. That's not your V. Your V is here, and you can look at the base of it and see that there's 2 stitches in that loop. So you know that this is your V, okay? So you're going to then do 2 double crochets in that V. 1 and 2. Okay, now you see this next little part here, you're gonna miss that. It's gonna act, this is your chain 1 space, okay? And so here's your V. You can see the 2 stitches at the very bottom here that are close together, that are in that same stitch on your foundation row. This is your V. You're gonna then yarn over, go into that center space, and you're going to do 2 double crochets. That's 1 and 2. This is a nice pattern because you don't have to fiddle with looking for the stitches up here, which It's not hard to do either, and you can do that if you like, but it makes for a nice chunkier look if you do it right into the V's. So again, we did our 2 double crochets. We're going to miss this little chain 1 space. It looks like an upside down V actually if you stretch it out. This one, the point comes to the top, and this one, the point to the bottom. You're gonna always miss that one, the one that the point comes to the top in your vision, okay? Yarn over, go into this next V, do 2 double crochets. Okay? You can hear my little bobby pin clicking away on the table here. 2. This scarf works up very, very quickly. Even if you're a beginner, you will get this done in one afternoon. For those of you who are more advanced crocheting, you can do this in a few hours, a couple hours, 2.5 hours, not even actually, because for me, I'm only doing 7 rows. If you were to use a 4-weight yarn, because you can do this exact same pattern with a 4-weight yarn and use like a crochet hook that's equivalent to that yarn, probably a 5 or 5.5 millimeter. Use the same technique, the same pattern, and just make you will need more stitches in your foundation row because it's a thinner yarn, and just follow along the same pattern. Okay, so 2 double crochets in this last V. Okay, so now that we're at the end, we've done our V-stitch in that last V there, we need to go into that 3rd chain from the top. We didn't mark that one with the bobby pin at our first row, we missed that one. So you can just see it here. I'll show you another way to find it. This is your 1st stitch, this is your 2nd one, and this next one up here is your 3rd. So then, and it's easier to find it if you turn it around and do it that way, but from now on, going forward, you're gonna put a stitch marker in there. Let me get all these yarn ends. Oops, I forgot to yarn over. Yarn over, go into that 3rd chain and make a double crochet. Pinch this stitch so that it doesn't stretch out and get all out of shape, okay? So then you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, add your next stitch marker, always have 2, 1 for each end, put your stitch marker in there, turn your work like a book, and then you're going to begin. Well, you can either turn it like this, and then you got to get, my yarn's on the wrong end, so that's why I struggled with it there. But anyways, you're going to turn it so that the other side is facing you, and then you can see that this is where your first V is. You're going to just repeat that. So you're going to chain up 3. You're going to 2 double crochets in that V, 2 double crochets in that one, all the way down the row until you get to the end. And then when you get to the end, you're going to do a double crochet into this 3rd chain that you've marked with your stitch marker. You're going to chain 3, you're going to turn your work, you're going to keep repeating that all the way up. Now, we are doing an infinity scarf, so we're going to join it, but if you want to do, I'm just going to tell you, now that I've got this sitting in front of me, if you want to do just a straight scarf and you want your V's to be going in this direction, you just make your row shorter like this. Like for me, if I was to just keep doing this and make it longer and longer and longer until I got to the length I wanted that way, then I would, okay, I did 16 stitches here, I would probably do 20. Make it 20, and then you'd have it a little bit wider, okay? So anyways, that's just a quick thought in my head as I was doing this. But now I'll grab my other one that I was working on and have almost finished here. And see, this is what I mean. Right now, we've got this scarf going in its lengthwise. So these are going up this way, with the width being narrow, because we're going to make it into an infinity scarf. If you want to make a straight scarf without closing the ends, you can either leave it, just do the same thing that we just did and just don't close the ends, or you can do it this way, make your foundation row shorter and then keep working it up longer that way, so that your V's keep going longer this way instead of this way. I hope that makes sense to you. If not, then put some questions in my comments and I will direct you from there. But for now, we're going to push this aside. I'm going to go over to my scarf that I'm finished. almost. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I put it around my neck to see if I liked, when I doubled it, if I liked that width, and I do. I don't want to go any further. This is about 7 inches in width, okay? All right, so I'm at the end here, so I'm going to do my last double crochet in the top of that chain 3. Okay, just like that, and then I'm going to, if you want to keep going, and then you just keep repeating your pattern, but I'm going to end it here. So I'm going to yarn over, go through that loop, I'm going to cut off my yarn, pull it through, and tighten it, and then I'm going to take my needle, and I'm going to hide this, I'm going to cut it off so it's much shorter actually, and I'm going to hide it in through there and down through this chain and down through here, just, and then up once more, just to hide it and get it out of the way. Okay, so now that that's done, we've got our beautiful scarf that, again, you can leave as just a long scarf like this. And it measures 68 inches long, and just leave it like that. You can put some tassels or some fringes on the end if you want, or you can go ahead and make it the other way that I told you, going up, having your V's going a different way. So either way, you can do that, or you can do what we're going to do now, and we're going to join it with, we're going to join our ends together, making sure that when you fold it in half, it's not twisted, okay? Fold it in half, get your needle and a piece of yarn. I'm going to just use my yarn end here. So when you actually pull this through, I never did it this time and I should have, but when you pull it through at the end, leave a longer piece, and that's the yarn you're going to use to sew. I'm going to probably have to, well, this might work actually, it's long enough. And then we're going to sew this together. Okay, so sew together or crochet together. It's sewing, but we're actually crocheting. Okay, so you're going to fold your piece in half. Now I went ahead and I hid that smaller end, that shorter end that I showed you, and I then joined another one, just because then I can easily show you better how to do this whole project. Okay, so there is a right way and a wrong way on this scarf. I mean, when you're wearing it, you're not going to care, but when you're sewing it up, you do. Okay, so when you see these little loops at the top here, this is the front. Okay, so if I was to turn it over, you can see the little loops that go over the stitches there. That's the back. Okay, so I want to take and fold it in half without it being twisted, and I want to put the front sides together. Okay, so you want your front together, and I'm going to turn it around because I'm right-handed. Okay, and we're going to then slip stitch it together. Now I went and got a smaller crochet hook because I just like that better for this kind of work to do. And I'm going to just lower my camera here 1 second, or maybe I can just go like this and you can see better. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hook underneath a stitch there. Just in the beginning, I'm going to grab up 2 bars, and then I'm going to put it underneath the stitch in the corner here. And then I'm going to yarn over. This is a little finicky because I didn't get this. I tied a knot there and it's not landing straight right on the side, but it's okay. The first one will be a little funny. So we're going to yarn over, bring it through, and then bring it through again. Okay, and now we're ready to begin. So you make sure that this is all lined up. You're going to go through a top stitch. I'm actually going to grab 2 because then it just holds it a little more secure. And you're going to go through 2 bars there. You're going to yarn over and you're going to bring it through all of the loops. That's a slip stitch. Okay, if you feel that a bigger hook would be easier for you, then by all means use it. But I just like the size of this one for this work. Now, don't pay too much attention to having these in the exact same split. Like, don't worry about where you're putting your hook. You just want to evenly space it down. Okay, so I went through 2 bars here and 2 bars there. I'm going to yarn over, bring it through all 4 of those, and then the one on my hook. That's a slip stitch to join, okay? And I'm going to continue that all the way around. Not having really tight tension because I don't want this to pucker. I just want it to be nice and closed. See, this is just a loop there by itself, so I'm going to move down a little bit further and just stick it in there. This time I only grabbed 3, but that's okay. You just got to make sure that you're grabbing both sides. Yarn over, pull it through, and then pull it through that loop on your hook. Then you want to give it just a little bit of slack so that you're not, if you keep this really tight on this one when you move over, that's when you're going to start getting a pull on it. So keep this, the last loop that's on your hook just a little bit looser, okay? And then continue on down the row. Picking up your stitch, yarn over and yarn over. Okay, now I'm going to go right into that loop there because I want to make sure I have a stitch there. I'm going to go right in. Okay, yarn over and through. And I'm going to continue on down the row, just like this. Okay, almost done. So I'm going to stay with you. You have to put up with me for just a little bit longer. Okay, all right. My husband went for a walk in the park and he said, do you want to come to a walk in the park? And generally I go, but I said no, because I wanted to get this done. So he's out walking. I have a quiet house to videotape, and that's great. Okay, not that he's loud, because he's not, but here we go. I'm going to continue going. Okay. I made a V-stitch scarf like this for a friend quite a few years ago, and I made more than one, but I'm thinking specifically of one certain friend because she wears it all the time. She has loved that scarf, and you know, when you give something to somebody and you see that they wear it all the time, it makes you proud of your work and glad that you gave it to them. So when you get this done, make one for yourself and then find somebody you can make one for and make them really happy. See how nice that is? I've got a little loop here, but that's nothing that's to worry about. That's just a little bit of a loose stitch, but it's fine. So now I've got to the end here. I'm going to yarn over, pull it through, and then pull it tight. And I had a yarn end there, so I'm just going to tie a knot. If you don't have a yarn end there, don't worry about it. Just secure it into your project there. Okay, and then I'm going to take my needle. I'm going to cut these off so that they're the same, but because it's so wide, I'm going to just hide one at a time. So I'm going to thread my needle, and then I'm going to go back and forth. Let me turn this so I can see. I'm going to go back and forth through this edging right here. It's really tight, so you don't have to do 3 times. You just have to do 2. And I've still got my video on Zoom, so I hope it's not distorting. So I'm going to go back another time. Then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to go back twice, and then I'll have my ends hidden, and then I'm going to just turn this back the other way. So you can see what that looks like. That's what our seam looks like. So you can't even tell, like it's a beautiful finished seam. It looks like it's just, well, you can't even tell. It's great. Okay, so I'm going to unzoom this. I'm going to unzoom it. There we go. And it just looks finished and beautiful. All right. So there you have it, my friends. You've made yourself a beautiful infinity scarf that you're going to absolutely love. Again, I would encourage you to go out and buy this yarn because it really is truly so beautiful. It's very soft. This is another way to wear this thing. You put it in half and then just fold it over your neck like that, tuck it into your jacket, and that's one way to wear it, and it's beautiful that way too. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me on this tutorial. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up because again, I know I mention this in every video, and I hope that you're not sick of me saying it, but it is how YouTube realizes that the videos are being watched, and then it circulates it to a wider audience. So I'm happy to make these videos for you, and I just ask that you in return would just hit that little thumbs up button if you liked the video, and also subscribe if you haven't yet done so. So thank you so much for watching this video, my friends. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.